My name is Charlie Cradaville. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today, a community news outlet serving central New Jersey. And I'm recording tonight's meeting on our camera. We'll be publishing it on our YouTube channel later tonight for the benefit of the public, so folks who couldn't be here or couldn't stay for the whole thing can review what they missed. And I'll start by saying it's good to see so many people here tonight. I wish we had this many people attend our Housing Authority meetings in New Brunswick. And I also want to thank the residents and the workers for being so welcoming and accommodating. I know my camera's right in the middle of everything, and I hope I'm not blocking people's view. But I'm here first and foremost to follow up on some Open Public Records Act requests I filed. I've been filing a lot of them as we usually do, and I'm concerned because one of these requests was sent back in January on the 15th. I requested the current executive director contract, which at that point would have been the interim that so many folks have talked about tonight. And I sent that request to not only Linden Housing Authority, but I did the same thing for 45 other authorities, and the only two that haven't produced a copy of the contract was this one and the Plainfield Housing Authority. Plainfield Housing Authority tells me they're going to get it to me this week, but I really don't have any kind of status update on that request. I've also filed another request. This one is kind of a very basic thing. I wanted the 2025 public meeting schedule so I could find out when the meetings are, and I don't know if that exists yet, but that request has not received a response either. I've also requested the contract for the newly hired incoming executive director and have not gotten that. And I've also requested the candidate resumes for the candidates that applied for that position and the evaluation criteria. And I've also requested copies of those management agreements, which seem like a really hot topic and a really important thing to be able to know what's in them and what do they say. And so far I have nothing. So I don't know if Mr. Hamlin, if you've received these, but I want to hand these over to you and make sure you get them.
So I can at least respond to the first one you requested, the interim executive director's contract. That was in January. That was before my time. But as I understand, there was no contract.
Okay. So yeah, just needed that response to know that. If you can put that in writing, I'd appreciate that, and then we can consider it closed. I'll hand you all the others here.
That's fine. I think there wasn't a schedule for the meetings, but
we have a motion for that today. I can give you that today.
Yeah, there's a motion for that.
Okay, and yeah, just I appreciate the verbal response here, but I do need
yeah, that's fine.
Formal responses to all my Open Public Records Act requests. That's a basic thing that we depend on as reporters to be able to know what's really going on. And so I appreciate you looking into that and whoever else is involved in fulfilling the request. I did want to ask same question I asked at the last meeting. Why no Zoom option? This authority has traditionally offered a remote access for folks who can't make it down here to the meeting room to still be able to watch and participate. It also enables you to make a proper recording of the meeting by pressing a single button and just saying we're going to record the meeting, and then saves me the trouble of coming up here and recording the meeting. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to do it as a public service, but I'm curious, why no Zoom access? Why was that a thing that has been done away with? What changed?
I don't know if the authority considered continuing to do that. I do know that there was some directive that was sent out from I think the governor's office, saying that because there's no more state of emergency, that the issue of having Zoom meetings, unless there's a policy in place that you compel to have the Zoom meetings, that it's not something that should continue.
I don't believe that's the case. I mean, I attend a lot of government meetings. Many of them are exclusively on Zoom sometimes. I think that's not as good. It's better to have both options. I think you tend to get residents that want to come in person and might not be into doing Zoom, but there's really no harm in offering the option, and I certainly know of no directive that prohibits it. So I would encourage the board, if you really want to make the meetings as accessible as possible to your residents, it's very easy to go back to what you were doing. You've proven that it can be done, and I haven't heard a good reason why you stopped. So I know you've scheduled at least one meeting, March 26th. Will the board commit to offering a Zoom option for that meeting? no comment?
No comment at this time.
Okay, well, I'm disappointed to hear that. I thought it was a very reasonable request. And if you have a good reason to deny the request, go for it. But if you don't, you should offer it. I hope you'll, I hope at least one board member will make a motion tonight to require a Zoom option. There's really nothing to lose by it, except if you don't do it, you're losing some transparency. And I think at this time, it's very clear that this authority needs maximum transparency. That's why it's so good people are watching tonight, and hope a lot of people are going to watch my video. And the next meeting, you should make very accessible, because there's obviously some serious issues here that need to be addressed. I know the first speaker asked about it, but I didn't exactly get a clear answer on the status of the new appointment of the new executive director. Is there a status update on that?
Unfortunately, there is not.
Okay. And just to clarify, that means Ms. Sanders is acting in the capacity, right? She's the deputy, so she is the interim or the acting?
She's the deputy executive director, and in the absence of the executive director, the deputy takes responsibility.
Okay. I did notice that the board had voted to approve a 5-year contract for the new person. My understanding from my experience in New Brunswick is that only folks who had prior ED experience were able to have a contract longer than 1 year. Has the board looked into that? Has your council looked into that? Is the 5-year contract legal?
We're waiting to hear back from HUD. If they say that she can't get 5 years, she'll get 1.
Okay, so thank you for that. And already answered my question about the schedule. You'll adopt a schedule tonight? Okay, please do that. It's really important to have a set schedule of meetings. I know your bylaws indicate some routine meetings, but it's been really hard to find out even the most basic stuff. And I do just want to close by giving a little analysis here that I think the board could do so much better if you are upfront. Mr. Hamlin gave a lengthy set of remarks that answered a lot of questions and provided a lot of information, but he didn't do that until after a couple of speakers had come up to the podium and started asking questions. All that stuff would have been really valuable information for the residents to have, for everyone watching to have. And I attended your last meeting where you made a critical decision about picking a new executive director, and there really wasn't any discussion about why you picked the person you did, or what that meant, or how that was going to go. It was just a very kind of terse meeting, and there was not a lot of explanation. And I just, in hearing the sort of what folks have been saying and reacting to this meeting, is that they felt like you were all talking to each other and not sharing with the public. And I can't help but agree. I'm trying to make sense of what I'm seeing here, and I know that many of you do have the information, and rather than waiting until somebody asks a tough question to offer it, you're way better off explaining your actions first, and then maybe things wouldn't get so heated and wouldn't get so difficult. And just for future reference, just one man's opinion, if you are going to do an executive session, let the public speak first, so you don't have to keep folks waiting. I know many folks wanted to be here, wanted to speak, but had to leave because they didn't get the chance. So I really hope you'll consider my suggestions, make your meetings more accessible, change that order of operations there, and have a clear schedule so everybody knows when and where to go. And I appreciate you hearing me out and answering my questions tonight. Thanks, everyone.